Alright, hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing why, in my opinion, I believe that Minecraft needs to update the end, and that I think it might be in the 1.20 update. And I'm going to be splitting this video into 3 sections. These are why the end is in need of an update, why I think it is likely to be in 1.20, and finally, how they can update the end in the first place. So, why is the end in need of an update? To answer this question, we need to compare it to the other dimensions, the Nether and the Overworld. Ever since Mojang updated the Nether, the End has seemed like a boring wasteland. Yes, there are end cities and the chorus plants, but it's just not enough for the supposed end of game in my opinion. I believe that the end should be full of life, such as huge forests with the tallest of trees, and ancient ruins from a civilization long forgotten. The end could have new biomes full of fun and exciting new blocks and mobs to find. There could also be end caves with maybe a new type of ore. The end should feel like an exciting but challenging experience. Except it is not exciting, and it's not challenging. The ore can be used in many types of ways, like crafting blocks or tools. There could be a mob that you could ride to get across the void, making it easier to travel around the end before the player gets his hand on the elytra. With Mojang updating existing aspects of the game, such as the ocean, nether, and the caves, all that is really missing is an updated end. The fact that there is no ore in the end is abysmal. For example, they could have so easily implemented a nether quartz counterpart for the end, maybe like purple essence, that could be used to make purple blocks. The fact that there is literally nothing is dissatisfying to any first time players. There's nothing unique about the end, except for a perilous void and the elytra. However, once a player has obtained a mending elytra, there's barely any reason to go back to the end, except for shulker boxes. This ultimately just makes a player dissatisfied. Let's look at the color palettes. The overworld is basically every color you can imagine. The nether is reds, blues, browns, yellows, oranges, greens, pinks, whites, greys, blacks. The end is black, purple, and off-white. It is simply not interesting. The way the end is implemented into the game, it simply discourages repeat visits. You cannot build portals to the end from the overworld, for example. After a couple visits, there is literally nothing left to do. No new items to get. The only legitimate reason is to resummon the Ender Dragon to fight it for fun, I guess. The end is inferior to Nether in so many ways. Lack of a variety of mobs, constructible portals, more biomes, and more interesting blocks. The fact there aren't even gateways from the end to random places in the overworld, for example. Like, come on! The whole theme of the mobs in the end is teleportation. So why aren't there any helpful teleporters at all? The Nether is more useful for transport in the overworld. I'm sure there are way more points to discuss, however, I think these are the main ones in my opinion. There's basically one mob, Enderman, with shulkers only found in end cities, and endermites being basically irrelevant. So, why do I think the end update is going to be on 1.20? I think this because, at least from what I can see, all the other updates have been sort of hinting and leading up to an end update, especially 1.19, and 1.20 is definitely rumored to be a massive update. For example, there are an incredible amount of similarities between skulk blocks and ender blocks. They have the same color schemes as ender pearls, end stone, or even end portal frames. The warden has some features that resembles the end too. In fact, its defining feature, the fact that it is blind and tells where you are from vibrations, is a contrast to the enderman who only detect you when you look at them. If Minecraft were going to select new colors to add to the end, the colors of the skulk blocks and ender pearls seem like the obvious choice. Also, the word skulk is similar to shulk. Just saying. I think it'd be so cool to see skulk blocks in the end. The fact that the mob that drops the most XP, the Ender Dragon, is located in the end, and skulk blocks literally store XP, it would just make sense. Furthermore, the Nether got updated not too long ago, and while still far away from the amount of variety in the overworld, it at least shows that Mojang will update dimensions. Nether update, a new biome was added called the Warped Forest. Imagine if this was in the end as well. Maybe there could be like skulk sensors in the end that would alert nearby endermen of your presence. With 1.17, 1.18, and 1.19, Minecraft are really showing us that they are almost putting on the finishing touches to the overworld. It is almost perfect, but the end is far behind. There has also been a huge amount of discussion about this topic recently, and an interesting theory that people have is that 1.19 was going to be the end update. This was because they had to update the end 10 updates prior in 1.9. Now if you think about it, Caves and Cliffs was split into 2 updates, meaning that if this theory was correct, then 1.18 would have added the Deep Dark, and that could have been leading up to the end update in 1.19. Seeing as this has been pushed back by one update, it makes sense for the update to be in 1.20. Now, how would they update the end? There are a multitude of ways in which Mojang could update the end. New biomes such as the warped forests, new insane terrain generation which the elytra can help with traversing, end cities almost embedded into mountains looking like sort of dungeons, new mobs that are sort of like striders that could help you traverse the end. You could have like chorus on a stick or something. There could be end variants of all the ores, so the end could be like the optimal place for mining late game. Please God, make endstone able to be smelted into stone, or used as an alternative for cobblestone. New monsters, maybe skulk blocks, possible gateways between certain points of the outer end isles and the overworld, that may allow players to get out tens of thousands of blocks in the overworld to give them a new experience. There are so many things that could be done. Teleporters, for example, purple essence could be cool, maybe a retexture for end cities, a mob similar to piglins that you could trade diamonds with for insane ender loot, maybe a new armor set, enchantments, maybe a helmet enchant that makes it so you can look at endermen freely, new tree types, ender lakes, new fishing opportunities. There are so many things that could be done with the dimension. For the most part, the main end island would stay the same, but maybe there could be some caves under it, with lots of resources to prepare for the outer end isles. The end is a real place of opportunity, and seeing as it is my favorite dimension, I'd really like Minecraft to do something with it. People who are saying that the late game of Minecraft should be challenging, this seems like the perfect way to do it, seeing as Minecraft seemed to be upping the difficulty of the game. Subscribe.